It's Viva Las Vegas.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download your podcast, this show is always free. This show is always going to appreciate your support. Hey, 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast with zero sugar and a convenient portable size. It's the perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. Go to 5hourenergy.com and use promo code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. Go to the number 5hourenergy.com today. Your final score from Las Vegas, USC 27, LSU 20. Yeah, baby. You know, I'm just going to shoot from the cuff here. Bear with me. There's a lot of emotion. I've got a lot of energy. It's late here Sunday evening. I still got a lot of work to do, but I want to get this out there. Instant reaction time. Miller Moss, he is 2-0 as USC starting quarterback going back to the Holiday Bowl last year. And he makes him 1-0 this season. By the way, just as a reminder for everybody, LSU has not won a season opener since 2019. You're welcome from USC. The last time LSU won a season opener, they won the national championship back in 2019 with Joe Burrow. Well, so far, doesn't look like they're going to be doing that this year. I am still trying to convince myself that USC actually has a good run defense. Not just a good run defense, a damn good run defense. You watch the game. I watched the game. Tell me you weren't sitting there with your jaw on the floor going, who is that? I don't recognize that team. It's okay. We recognize them at the end of the game, and so did LSU. This is what Coach Riley had to say after the game. As far as the overall experience, the win itself, just an awesome team win. Great environment in there. Great stadium, great opponent. Two teams really went at it. Kind of traded blows the entire game. Was proud of our guys because we had some missed opportunities as a football team. It felt like for a while we were outplaying them a little bit more than what the scoreboard looked like. End quote. I agree with you, Coach. I absolutely agree with you. USC was outplaying LSU for the entire first half. But there are some key, little mistakes here and there that kept, that allowed LSU to stay into the game. I can look back at, we had the missed field goal at the end of the first half. There was that odd play calling series towards the end of the first half. And I even asked Coach Riley about that. I have some notes, and that'll be part of my notes and observation report that I'm going to publish over there on wersc.com. Clock management, it's still a thing. It needs to be worked on. And I get it. First game out of the box, a lot going on. Nevertheless, USC had 1:38 at the end of the first half with the ball. And I understand they were deep in their own territory, but it just seemed like Coach Riley went very conservative with his play calling. And at that point, LSU really wasn't in a position to try and stop the clock. I get it. You don't want to throw a pass and have it fall incomplete and stop the clock for them. But USC was really good with their short passing game. I don't think that would have been an issue. Pardon me. When I asked Coach Riley about that particular series, that sequence, this is what he said. Quote, moved it down there. We were a little bit in between there at the end, and if we were going to take a shot or not. So again, he wasn't sure how we wanted to go about it. But we felt Woody was running well at that point. We popped a couple of runs. We thought the run gave us a chance to crease it, and if not, would help us, from a field goal standpoint. We just didn't hit a good ball on the field goal. End quote. He's right. It was a chippy. It was a 30-yarder. And Michael Lance kind of, pushed it to the right. Everyone went to halftime tied at 10. USC had a chance to have the lead But again, it could have been 17-10, could have been 13-10. It was 10-10. Coach Riley said this. He was asked, what kind of message does this send? Remember, USC was coming off an 8-5 season last year. They were the talk of the offseason. There's no way USC is going to be able to survive the move to the big conference. No way they can handle that type of physical football. Well, you watch the game. Looked like they were able to handle any type of physical football. They could play SEC football. They could play with LSU. And if you were looking closely, USC actually looked like the bigger team on the field. Maybe those are my untrained eyes speaking. Tell me if you agree or disagree. So as far as the message that USC sent, this is what Coach Riley said after the game. That was some pretty good Big Ten football today. I don't know. We're just not into it for messages, man. My message is I really like my team. I like our team. I like our defense. I like our coaches. I like our offense. I like our special teams. I like the vibe on this team. It's a long, long ways to go, but I'm sure glad I'm coaching these guys, end quote. Speaking of special teams, I'm wondering how much junk, how much guff Zachariah Branch was getting in the locker room. I know he's going to hear about it when they look at film. He had a chance to run one back. It was on LSU after one of their I think it was a celebration penalty. They had to kick off from the 20 rather than the 35. Zachariah Branch was ready to break it. Guess who tackled him just past midfield? The kicker. Can't let that happen, Zachariah. Anyways, it's okay. Bottom line, USC won. Special teams, USC did not make any mistakes on special teams. So that's a positive. Before I get into the next segment talking about USC's run defense and the defense in general, let's look at some of the stats and how this played a role in the game. USC led LSU with 24 first downs to LSU's 21. USC ran the ball 23 times, LSU 26 times. USC only had a net 69. They only netted 69 yards rushing. There was a couple sacks that took some numbers off. LSU ran for 117 yards. But if I told you that USC held them to 46 rushing yards in the first half, you would think, okay, USC's probably having a really good day. But that also means they might be giving something up with the passing game. And they did. And I think it might have been by design. Nevertheless, USC had 27 receptions. LSU had 29 receptions. Miller Moss, 378 yards through the air. LSU, 304. So it's not like Garrett Nussmeier was having a huge game, but they were able to, LSU and their wide receivers was able to find some soft zones to those guys to kind of get into. And I was always asking myself, why are the USC defensive backs playing so far off the ball at the line of scrimmage? That was one of the frustrating things. They were constantly 7 to 10 yards off the ball until they got to the red zone. USC had the advantage on yards per play, 7.45. LSU was at 6.5. Not bad. No turnovers for USC. They did drop the ball a couple of times, but they did cover up their own fumbles. Miller Moss had a couple of passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. Very fortunate that neither one of those was intercepted. Penalties. It wasn't a clean game, but USC was cleaner than LSU. USC was 6 for 50. LSU 10 penalties for 99 yards. And the Tigers head coach, Brian Kelly, he was not having a good time on the sideline. Not having a good time. But this was USC's game. And it's not about the stats. A lot of the stats I can go over, they would end up being in the empty stat category. LSU owned the time of possession. Didn't matter. Did not matter. You could tell that these were two pretty evenly matched teams. Again, both programs changed the defensive coordinators. In the end, it was USC's running game that got the job done. And in the end, they were taking a victory formation. USC's 1-0 on the season. They're going to move up from the rankings. You know what was great about this game? This is the type of game that's going to get them ready for that Michigan game in a few weeks. Next week, USC hosts Utah State at home. So you're just hoping no letdown. First game in front of the home crowd. Let's come out there, put up some points, get the backup some playing time, send the crowd home early. Kickoff 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing everybody out there. Mondays are going to be rough. This Monday is going to be really rough. I'm going to be up late tonight. But you know what? This is what I need. I need a 5-hour energy shot. That's going to help keep me going. Did you know that 5-hour energy has 0 sugar and it comes in a convenient portable size? It's the perfect pick-me-up for getting stuff done. Go to their website. The 5-hour energy website has flavors. Whatever flavors you can think of, they probably have it for you. They have flavors like watermelon and tropical burst and berry and grape, and I'm sure they got orange and lemon. Whatever you can think of, they probably have it over there. And when you're on the site, you can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack if you're into that. Yeah. Again, you choose the flavors and they're going to have it delivered right to your front door. All you have to do is go to 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5, hourenergy.com, and get some 5-hour energy product today. And if you use my promo code LOCKEDONUSC, you'll actually get to receive 20% off your order. Use your energy now. The offer is only valid until September 30th. It's on one order only, and it cannot be used with other promotions. And the code is not good on subscription orders. Go to the number 5, hourenergy.com today. So let me ask you this question. How cool is it to see USC's run defense literally bow up, make multiple stops? And they did it when they had to. All game long, USC's rushing defense, LSU ran the ball 26 times, 117 yards, no touchdowns. My everydayers who have been watching this show religiously, you've heard me talking about it. I said, this is going to be a red zone game. Who can force more field goals will win. So again, as far as USC's run defense, I won't give them an A+, but I'm going to give them a solid A. They didn't miss it by much. What I saw from those guys was physicality, no broken tackles, being in the right position. The guys in the inside, they did their job. It's on the outside, just getting a little bit more on the edge. Remember, like I said, this was going to be a red zone game. Whoever forced more field goals was going to end up winning this game. USC ended up on the positive side with that. It was LSU's offensive line stuff. Left tackle, Will Campbell, he said, we're coming in there for a fist fight. But here's the thing. Not only did USC punch back, they punched back hard. And I think they got into Will Campbell's head a little bit. He was credited with 2 false starts. So not only does I think LSU is a better pass protecting team. I mean, they pass protected like an NFL all-pro team. There was very little pressure from USC's front. Garrett Nussmeier was pretty much able to sit back there and pick his targets. He never really felt threatened. And when you look at it, his wide receivers, they're pretty good. Had a pretty good time out there. Again, I really thought USC's secondary would have the advantage, but it looked like LSU wanted to. They weren't able to run the ball, so they figured, hey, let's throw it. But when they got to the red zone, that's when things shut down. So LSU's quarterback, he was 29 for 38 for the game. Really good game. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Mason Cobb sealed the game. You saw that. And that put USC in the victory formation. So Mason Cobb, he dropped down. Ball was a little bit underthrown. He made the diving interception. Game over. USC 27, LSU 20. That was a really solid game for LSU going up against the USC secondary. And USC secondary wasn't playing bad in the least. Not at all. Wasn't even close to playing bad. They were just keeping everything in front of them. But you know what I saw? I saw the players in position, and especially tackling in open space. Jacoby Covington was rock solid. Jalen Smith, dude, was a monster. He hit one guy who near the sideline, from the LSU sideline. The guy got up and he was mad. I mean, he didn't want to be hit that hard. Jalen just put the perfect hit right on the hip. I'm telling you, USC's physicality sent the message. I'm sure the guys in the big conference are watching. Hey, that doesn't look like the USC we remember from last year. Good. USC is not the same team that you saw last year. Like I said, hard physical tackling. The LSU players, they were the ones who were, collecting the personal fouls, targeting, stuff like that. I mean, it led to a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on LSU. They were dancing in the end zone on their 2 touchdowns. It's, act like you've been there before. It's okay to have the swag, but remember, you haven't won an opening season game since 2019. That's 5 years running now. I really thought this was for USC's defense in general, this was a perfect warm-up. Well, I shouldn't even call it a warm-up. This game is going to have them ready for that game when they travel to Ann Arbor. We know Michigan's going to play physical football. We know they're going to try and run it. But now if you can't run it against USC, I'm not sure Michigan has the passing game right now. I really don't. I watched that game that they played over the weekend. Yeah, they beat Fresno State at home in Ann Arbor. It took them a while. That game was tight. That game was tight halfway through the third quarter. So we'll see. Again, game 1, you don't want to take too much away from it. But if you're a USC fan, you want to take as much from this as you can, because you saw so much. You saw how different the team looked. They played with a quiet confidence, a swagger. They were just out there. Let's just go play football. But boy, when that final gun sounded, Miller Moss hurled that ball up to the ceiling, up to the heavens. You could feel that emotion. They just exploded. It was beautiful. This is what USC fans have been waiting for a long time. We're going to see if they can carry it over. Game 2 next week, Utah State. Hey, Locked On USC fans, I want to take a moment and give you the heads up on a brand new mobile game that I think you're really going to love. It's called the Ultimate College Football Head Coach. It's this really cool game. I mean, if you watch the game tonight, you're thinking, man, what if I was Lincoln Riley? Think about it. You can step into his shoes. Being the head coach of the Trojans, from recruiting players, hiring a coaching staff, overseeing training camp, everything that goes on behind. You want to hand out some scholarships? Jump on this game. You can do that. Ultimate College Football Head Coach is a completely free game. There's no ads, and it's 100% playable offline. You can also play on the go as you want, whenever you want. And of course, we have a special offer for my Locked On USC fans. Use promo code LOCKEDONCFB, that's all capitals, and you can do this inside the game store, and you can receive a free boost to your program. Make sure to take advantage of this perk, and it will get your team off to a great start. So download, just all you got to do, go to the Google Play Store, go to the App Store, download, and you're going to type in -cfb.com, ultimate-cfb.com, or look it up on the App Stores. You can find it that way. It's going to be real easy. Begin your coaching legacy today. So, USC's passing game. What did you think? What did you think about USC? Miller Moss at quarterback, wide receivers. Did it feel like maybe they were second nature? If you had felt that way, it's for good reason. Let me tell you why. Yeah, the wide receivers had a good game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, did you see that catch by Kyron Hudson? That one-handed grab? If that's not the catch of the game, the catch of the week, the number one play on ESPN, I don't know what is. But OMG, he makes the hard catch. He dropped another touchdown. The ball literally went through his hands. bounced off his face. You want to give the credit to the defender. I think he got a hand in there as well. Anyway, Kyron had a really good game. 5 catches, 83 yards. But he wasn't the leading receiver. I mean, he had the most yards. But you know who else had 5 receptions? Lake McCree, tight end. Yeah. So not only did USC run the ball, they found their tight ends again. Who else had a really good game back there? So you had Kyron Hudson, leading receiver, 5 catches, 83 yards. Zachariah Branch, 4 for 56. By the way, they were averaging, Kyron averaged 16 yards per touch. Branch, 14 yards. Not bad. Jacoby Lane, he had 3 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. The only passing touchdown by Miller Moss. USC's offensive line, I thought they played pretty well. I'll give them a solid B. Solid B. They have room for improvement. Reason being is Miller Moss was feeling a little bit of pressure. He got sacked twice. He almost had a couple of balls picked off. Very fortunate that did not happen because the balls were being knocked down at the line of scrimmage. The one thing I would say that they probably could have done better with the passing game, move the pocket. It felt like they were leaving Miller in the pocket for too much, and it gave LSU's defense an easier job. But Miller played with so much poise. Nothing was getting to him. Even when the balls were getting knocked down. Just line up, do it again. And he actually happened 2 plays in a row. So bottom line is Miller was in complete control. He didn't let anything get to him. Or if it was getting to him, he didn't show it. And USC did not turn the ball over. Almost. They did fumble the ball twice. Fortunately, they covered up their own fumbles. So, again, they were very lucky in that regard because the game could have ended differently. I mean, if we're being honest, but sometimes it takes a little bit of luck as well. So again, so much poise, so much emotion. Miller Moss is the team leader. Do not think otherwise. USC fans, I mean, this is how it's supposed to feel, right? Playing a big game, both teams playing as hard as they can. I thought this game was going to go over. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a shootout. I'm happy to be wrong. More than happy to be wrong. I'm really enjoying this 27-20 victory. Takes me back to, hey, you know what? Play defense, run the ball, use your tight ends, play boring football. Take a shot downfield every now and then. They did. And guess what? USC won. I'm going to end this episode now. I'm going to do more of a breakdown on our next episode. This is my instant reaction after the game. It's late Sunday night. Do me a favor. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Hit that bell notification. I don't want you to miss an episode. I'm telling you, this team is special. You can feel it. You can sense it. They beat a really good LSU team. And they did it the old-fashioned way. They did it the SEC way. Their fans, they left the stadium. USC was in there celebrating. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So until that next episode, everyone, you know what to do.